Hello everyone, welcome back to another BTLO Replay. Today we are solving a medium level incident response lab called Venom. Before we move ahead, be sure to follow us on X, LinkedIn, or join the Discord server to keep in touch with the BTLO community. All the links are in the description box below. Now before we start solving the lab, let's go through the scenario. We got you the var log folder of one of the compromised Ubuntu server. Investigate the logs and figure out the point of entry of the attacker. You have raw logs on var log in desktop. Use your Linux CLI skills over the logs and analyze the following. With this, let's dive right into solving the lab. Question 1. What CMS is running on the web server? So currently I am in the given logs folder, and inside this we have different types of log, but the question is asking for the CMS in the web server, which is closely relating to the Apache 2. So let's go into Apache 2 folder. Here we have different logs. You can see access log, error log, and other vhost access log. Now one can approach this question in different ways. One of the ways you look into each file, like cat access log 0, like this. You scroll it and then you find what you are looking for. Other thing is, or the other way can be, you can directly grab for keywords, which I prefer doing. Let's say I want to search for WordPress because it is one of the famous CMS. So I'll try grab -ir. -I means case insensitive, R means recursively in this folder. So all the files which are present inside this folder, WordPress will be checked, or grep will find this keyword in those files. I'll type this, hit enter, and we do see WordPress present in the entry, but it is not the answer, and indirectly, or let's say fortunately, we got our answer. Here is how. You see we have this get request. Okay, this is the page, or the page which is requested on this particular server, but the root directory or the root folder is Joomla, and WordPress is part of it. So you can say Joomla is the CMS inside which all these sub pages are present. So let's go ahead and type Joomla, submit, and yeah, it is correct. Question 2. What is the IP of the attacker? Now here only we can see we have all the logs, which is Apache logs, and we see an IP address. Now if you go online and look for the format, you see this IP address, or this placeholder, is for the source IP address from where the request is coming. This is your date and time when the request was generated, and what was requested by the source, what was the status code, and what was the response size, and the user agent, or simply the browser from which the request came from. Means this is the source, and we can see it seems like to be a brute force attempt trying to find active pages, and all of them is containing this particular IP address. So let's type it out, 192.168.1.29, which should be the attacker's IP address, and yeah, it is correct. Question 3. What is the username that has been brute forced by the attacker? Now for this you can try looking into Apache folder, but we have a specific log called auth log, which focuses on the authentication of the users. If we do cat auth log, you see we have different logs. It is for SSH, then your GDM password, everything is present over here. So what I like to do is, we see different entries over here, like connection closed, failed password, and all those. Now since we are trying for the brute force, so there are chances that majority of the request or majority of the entries would be failed attempt. So what I'll do is, I will simply cat auth log, and I will grab for failed as the keyword. Here we see we have failed password. We do have root present over here, but let's take it up ahead and find out all the different users which are present. Now for this, what I will use awk. Now awk is an advanced, I'll say, data processing utility, and you can do n number of activities. Now what I'll do, I will simply grab this particular place and see what all different entries are present in this place. So I'll divide this line with space as the delimiter. So I'll put space, that my field delimiter is space. What I want to print, that will come here, print dollar and the number or the index 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So the user entry is present on the 9th index. I'll hit enter and we see we have only a 9th index getting printed. But let's just sort it out and see the unique entries. So okay, we have this activate release, but in terms of user, I do only see one legit entry, which is root. And since we are looking already for failed attempts, that means brute force was done for root user. Let's type it out, root, and submit. This is correct. Question 4. What is the common name of the vulnerability exploited by the attacker? So for this, let's go back, let's go to Apache folder, Apache, and here we have all the logs, and let's look what are the different ways a CMS or a web server could be exploited. So to concise it, or to narrow it down, we can start with the OWASP top 10. Now in OWASP top 10, what all entries or what all attack types could be done using the URL specifically, right? Because the question so far has given us URLs only in terms of logs. So let's start from there. So it could be SQL injection, it could be remote file inclusion, local file inclusion. So let's try to find out the entries which are related for this. So grep-ir, so I'll grab from each and every file which is present inside this folder, grep-ir, and let's try to find, like, is there any, or just to look for any SQL attempt. Okay, there is nothing specific, it's just part of this. So what we can do, maybe there is some parameter through which any injection would have happened. So let's look at the equal to sign if it is present, and yeah, we do see it. This is the page, or the URL, dormant image viewer index.php, view is equals to this, and later on we see the attacker is reading the local files. You can see like etc pass wd. So possibly it is local file inclusion. Let's type it out, local file inclusion, and yeah, it is correct. Question 5. Attacker viewed the contents of the several file. What is the first file? So right away we can see using LFI, this was the first file that the attacker read. So let's type it out, /etc/passwd, hit enter, and sweet, it is correct. Question 6. What is the username of the account that the attacker got access to? Well, this is particularly a good question, because it will make you think from the attacker side as well as from the system internal or Linux internal side as well. I'll show you what I mean. So here in the logs, let's grab for any user entry or any user keyword, and let's see if we have any username present. So everything is part of the brute force payload, my bad. And in the auth log, we saw that root was one of the user, but that was brute force, and we specifically looked for the failed attempts. So let's once again go at the auth log and see what are different users we can look for. So again, grep users the keyword, and okay, we have some entries, but they are different, like connection closed by authenticating this. So let's just use awk again here, awk -f, and space will be a delimiter. The index which I would like to print is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Okay, and let's just sort it out and show unique entries. So we have different entries available here. Like you can see, we have root, we have sysadmin. Let's try giving sysadmin. We submit this and it is wrong. Let's try with root, and it is wrong or incorrect as well. Now this is where we have to think out of the box and imagine the attack flow based on the previous question. So we have Joomla CMS getting exploited using the LFI. Now if we take a step back and think how CMS are installed, or what users are associated during the setup, or which user is related to websites hosting in Linux specifically, then we can sort of narrow down, because obviously if this particular service, website or web page is hosted in a Linux server, which is given to us that the web server is the Ubuntu server, then obviously by default the user with which the web page should have been hosted will be www-data. Let's try it out. And yeah, it is correct. So you see, this question was very different than the other, because you may not find this entry of any successful login for this particular user. Let's just quickly verify that as well. grep-ir www-data, and you see we just have 2 entries out of every log available over here. We only have 2 entries, even though it does not contain any direct reference that the user was www-data. Here you can see user is root, but still if we think logically that okay, if CMS is installed or web page is installed, which user is associated, and the attacker exploited any vulnerability or specifically for that particular web page or CMS, then the user with which it is related to or associated to will get exploited or compromised, and in this case the user was www-data. Question 7. What is the first command executed by the attacker? So for this, let's go to Apache 2, and grep again for equal to sign. Now after viewing the passwd file, attacker looked in different files like access log, error log, and mail log, and it seems that using mail log some commands are getting executed. So let's look into that as well, what this mail log is having for us. So here we see some connect info and some PHP commands. As you see right here, PHP code is there obviously, and inside that we have the bash commands that can get executed. So it seems that if config is the first. So let's try that. If config, submit, and yeah, it is correct. Now the 8th and the last question of this lab: what is the URL from which the attacker tried downloading a malicious file? Let's go to Apache folder, grep-ir. Again, let's go to grep for equal to, and here we see host name, which Python, and wget. Yep, we do see some downloading utility for downloading the file wget, and this is the URL. This is the one. Let me copy this, and let's open the CyberChef. Now in CyberChef, let's paste the command that we copied, and in this command we have our URL and some encoding being present. So we have URL encoding. Let's decode that, and this is what we get. We have the URL from which the file was getting downloaded, and the output is getting saved in temp folder. Let's type it out, or you can simply copy paste. Let's submit this, and yeah, there we go. We have successfully completed the lab. To summarize, we looked into how we can analyze raw logs using CLI skills, as well as we also looked at things from Linux internals perspective. With that being said, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something new today. If you do, be sure to like and subscribe to never miss a video. In the meantime, remember to join our Discord and tune in every Friday at 6 p.m. BST for BTLO Replay. Thanks everyone. See you next time.